Good evening, good evening, good evening, my brothers and sisters. How are you doing this beautiful evening? Come on to the dinner table. We got some good food for your soul so you can enjoy this feast this evening. You going to enjoy what's on the menu for tonight. Go ahead, my brothers and sisters, invite some more family members and friends, and keep in mind that we may have some guests. So, if you don't mind, just scoot over a little bit and let our guests come in and sit down. If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I speak on relationships. When I speak on relationships, I come from God's position. When I say God's position, I strongly believe when you look in the book of Genesis that God created the man and the woman for a relationship. It's documented, and I go by God's position on it. God created Adam first. Secondly, He created Eve. Thirdly, He represented the woman Eve to Adam, and in the presence of God, Adam said, "Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I should call a woman because she came from man." That's the position I come from. Now, if you sit at the dinner table and you have another idea about a relationship, you can do whatever you choose to do. That's on you. You got a free will. But if you sit at the dinner table, I would like to let you know now that I believe in the concept that God created at the beginning of time when He created Adam and He brought Eve to Him. That's the position that I come from. And God is the foundation of a relationship between a man and a woman. And there's a lot of you that are on the book and on the tube. If you're on the tube, I may make some comment to those that are on the book. You may not see their names or comments, but I will call it their names and comments every now and then. And those of you that are on the tube, you may not see those on the book. I will call it their names and comments every now and then. So we're family here, and I want you to be able to express your thoughts and make your comments and ask questions along the way, but be very, very respectful because we family here, okay? How you doing, Sister Flo Hard Martin? Welcome to the dinner table, sister. I see that you have sat down. Thank you so much, Sister Flo, for being here at the dinner table so regular. I really appreciate you, sister. I really, really do. And the rest of you brothers and sisters that normally come in and get some of this good meal, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now let's pick up the menu and look at what we are going to expound on this evening. We're going to really get down. We're going to get our teeth into the meat of this topic. And what is on the menu? If you place a good man or woman last in your life, this is what's going to happen. I spelled that wrong. If you place a good man or woman last on your, I'm so backward tonight. Forgive me, my brother and sister. If you place a good man or woman last in your life, this is what's going to happen. That's what it's supposed to be, okay? But anyway, let's get to it. My brothers and sisters, if you don't spend quality time with your mate, put other people's and things before your mate, take your mate for granted, and don't take your mate seriously, what do you actually think going to happen? Do you think your mate is going to stay there? Just think about it. And we're talking about putting the shoe on your feet and seeing how you would think about how your mate. So, my brother and sister, if God bring a good woman to you, brother, sister, if God causes a good man to find you, this is what we're talking about. We got to take responsibilities in a relationship. How you doing, mother? Welcome to the dinner table. So it's very, very critical, my brother and sister. As it is written, do unto others as you will want them to do unto you. This is one key factor when it comes to relationships in general. Do as it is written, do unto others as you will want them to do unto you. Now, my brother and my sister, when you are having problems, we'll talk about relationship problems. You and your mate are going through a storm. Every relationship faces a storm. You got to understand it, my brother and sister. Even the best relationship go through storm. You're either going into a storm, you in the middle of a storm, or if you're not in the middle, you're coming out. So don't feel to be in a relationship, but I just want you to know there are going to be some storms along the way. But if Jesus is a part of your relationship, When you go into the storm, he's there. When you're in the storm, he's there. Coming out, he's there. Again, when you're going to the storm, Jesus is going there with you. If you're in the storm, Jesus is there with you. If you're going out, Jesus is there with you. As you can remember this story, my brother and sister, case in point, when the disciple was on a ship, it was a bad storm. Jesus was at the bottom of the ship. It was a bad storm. Jesus was just chilling out. He was asleep. The humanity part of Jesus was asleep. But Jesus being God and God's son, Jesus, his godliness was ever awake. Jesus already knew about the storm, but he was just chilling down at the bottom asleep. So his disciples, they panicked. They came down there. They were shaking Jesus, said, Lord, Lord, we perish. You know, you need to do something. So Jesus got up. He walked up to the top, and when Jesus was walking up, you can imagine Jesus started feeling all that water coming on him like his disciple. The wind was blowing. It was dark. It was terrifying for his disciple. And what did Jesus say? 3 words. 3 words. Peace, be still. And that's what could happen, my brother and sister, when it comes to a relationship between you, brother, and your mate, or you, sister, and your mate. As it is written, and Jesus is saying this, when there's a problem, my brother and sister, now your mate comes to you with a problem. Keep that in mind. This is the scenario we're going to work with. Your mate comes to you, a good man or a good woman comes to you, and this is what Jesus is saying. As it's written, and Jesus said, if your brother does something wrong to you, go to him. Talk along to him and tell him what he has done. If he listens to you, you have kept your brother as a friend. But if he does not listen to you, take 1 or 2 others with you to talk to him. Then 2 or 3 people will hear every word and can prove what is said. If he does not listen to them, tell it to the church. If he's not listening to the church, treat him as one who does not believe in God and as a tax collector. Now listen to how Jesus said you resolve a problem. Jesus said, if your brother does something wrong to you, go to him. That means, my brother and sister, when you have a problem, you're supposed to go directly to that person. You don't go talking to your parents, your sister, your brother, your children, your friends, your co-workers, social media. Jesus telling you the strategy or how to do it. Jesus said, go directly to that person. Go to him, or it could be a her. Then it said, talk along to him or her and let him or her know what is done. So if there's a problem, my brother and sister, you go directly to the source. Alone, by yourself. That's what a lot of men and women do not understand. That's how things get chaotic and out of control. Now, there's a possibility. Jesus said, if he listened to you, or it could be a she, you have kept your brother as a friend. There's a possibility, my brother and sister, if there's a problem that once that person may not be aware of it. Just think about it. Your mate may not be aware of it. So if you talk to him or her, they may see where you're coming from, and then there's a chance to reconcile, okay? But if he does not listen to you, that's when you can get other people involved. It say, take 1 or 2 others with you to talk to him. That doesn't mean your friends, your co-workers, your relative. It don't mean it. It means taking someone, a third party, like a Christian man or Christian woman, someone in the church. It said, take 1 or 2. Now, if that doesn't work, and brother, you call yourself a Christian, and the woman is a Christian, or sister, you call yourself a Christian, and the man a Christian, if they don't listen to these 2 people, that's when if they don't listen, that's when you take it to the church. Now, that's serious business. Now, if you take to the church and it's still a problem, it's a problem with that person or you. And you are labeled like you don't believe in God. But we're going to really tackle this tonight, my brother and sister. Now, if you place a good man or a good woman last in your life, what is going to happen? Something is going to go down, my brother and sister, if you place that man or woman last in your life. You see this right here, my brother and sister. You see this. Sand is running down. Why am I using this hourglass? Sand, if you can see it, sand is coming down, my brother and sister. That means time. If you don't do your mate right, time is going to go, time is against you. While there is hope, you can reconcile. But once all of this goes down, that represents your relationship, brother, with that woman, or sister, your relationship with that man. This represents time, okay? Now, this is what normally happens. Brother, sister, listen up. Remember, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Brother, if you want that woman to do you right, you got to do her right. Sister, if you want him to do you right, you got to do right. It's a simple thing, but a whole bunch of men and women do not understand it. Now, there's a problem in the relationship, and there are 7 things that normally happens when you place a good man or woman last in your life. Number 1, first of all, this is what normally happens, because remember, the Bible says, as it is written, there's nothing new under the sun. This is how it normally goes. First, there is a conversation. Brother, that good woman will come up and talk to you. Sister, that good man will come up and talk to you. This is a critical point. When a person is compelled to come talk to you about a problem. Now, there's a possibility that you didn't recognize it. And then there's a possibility that you know what you're doing. So at this point, there's a problem. A storm is coming. It's a silent storm right now. You know, but right before it rained, you ever notice, you could tell, you could look up in the cloud where the sky, and you could tell that it's getting dark, okay? Before it rained, it started normally getting dark, right? And then you'll see clouds forming. That giving you an indication that the weather is about to turn. And that's what your mate is doing. The weather is about to turn. So here she come up to you to have a conversation. And my brother and sister, the best way to walk into a problem, you do not, if your mate come to you, don't get defensive. If your mate said, we need to talk, listen. Your job at this point, my brother and sister, is to listen. As it is written, be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. The Bible says that this is communication. It said be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Your job, my brother, and your job, my sister, when your mate come to you, I'm talking about a good, solid man or a good, solid woman come to you, your job is to listen. Not to hear, but to listen. You don't listen to come back with something. You listen, you have your mind open and just listen. If you have a problem listening, my recommendation is get a pad and a sheet of paper or something, a pencil, and write down. Do not interrupt your mate from talking. If your mate needs to have a serious conversation with you, what you need to do, if the TV is on, turn that TV off. Whatever distraction, eliminate your distraction. If you got small children, you need to take care of your children because it's business time. Now, we're talking about saving your relationship, my brother and sister. That's what we're talking about. Your mate normally going to come talk to you. Now, if you listen to your mate and you agree to what your mate is saying, and you say, okay, I'm going to work on that problem or that issue. I recognize what you're talking about. You recognize it. So what you do, you agree to try to conform. But brother and sister, don't try to do it on your own. This is what a lot of people try to do. Don't try to reform on your own. If your mate have a legitimate problem and you recognize the problem, what you do first, don't try to do it on your own. You pray to God through his son Jesus, through the power of the Spirit, to help you to be in a way where changes could come for the betterment of your relationship, so your relationship can continue to flourish and to be successful. So number two, what's going to happen? Your mate going to look for changes. When your mate come with a grievance, he or she, when you agree to it, he or she going to look for changes, okay? Now, there's going to be some time. It's going to be some time that's going to be going on. He or she going to be listening and watching for changes, okay? Then, if there's not no positive changes, we ain't talking about trying to make your mate happy. We talk about having peace. That's what we're talking about. You need Jesus to have peace. Now, this doesn't work in a relationship where the man and the woman don't have Jesus in a relationship. You see, this need to be a Christian man and a Christian woman for peace. So Jesus got to be in the middle of the storm. So brother and sister, my recommendation is to try to talk to Jesus together, separately and then together. Now, if that mate does not see no change that you said you were going to try to work on, number three, this is what's going to happen. He or she normally going to come to you again to have another conversation. And when he or she come to you with another conversation, your job again is to listen, be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. You still listen without getting defensive. Listen, and then you talk. At this point, my brother and sister, there's a possibility that you may need some counseling. So if you need counseling, that's when you bring in one or two more people, not your family, not your friends, not your co-worker, and don't go to social media for advice, because you're going to have a whole bunch of social media counselors. You're going to have a whole bunch of co-workers that got messed up relationships. You got some family members that got tore up relationship. Why are you going to them? So you go to a third party, a Christian man or a Christian woman or a combination of the two. If you can't get through that, you may have to go to the church. I know you don't want to get the church involved, but it may get to that point. Hopefully it does not. Now, if it doesn't work, the first conversation, he or she looking for a change, then there's this other conversation. Apparently, he or she doesn't see no changes in you that you had promised. Now, here's a critical part. Then there comes silence. This is the critical part in your relationship, silence. Just because your mate gets silent doesn't mean that it's resolved. It's just like, what you call that little storm? It's like, what you call it? Tsunami or something like that. You all know what I'm talking about. It's just like, when the whole body of water is about to overtake land. What you notice happening, okay, like say for instance, it's a beach, and you notice that the water is withdrawing. It's withdrawing and it withdrawing and it withdrawing, and you wondering what's going on. You know what's about to happen? It's going to come back with force. It's silent, but it's going to come back with force, and it's going to overtake you. This is what's going to happen when your mate start getting silent. Because your mate is at the point where I tried to talk to him or her. you brother, you sister. I tried to talk to you brother, or I tried to talk to you sister, and something is not right. So your mate gets silent. And you think everything cool. It's not cool. It's not cool. And when your mate get silent, you at danger. Because you see, at that particular time, majority of the time, your mate is he or she is thinking. You're thinking about, what am I going to do? This man or woman don't want to spend quality time with me. This man or woman put other people and things in front of me. This man or woman is taking me for granted. This man or woman don't take me serious. I'm the last of the last to this man or woman. When your mate start thinking and feeling that he or she is last on the totem pole, you are in critical danger. You about to go flatline. You know what flatline is? Like you're in the hospital, they had that machine on you, and you know it be going up like that. You see those line going up, that means you got a little life in you. But when it flatline, that means it's dead. It's dangerous, my brother and sister, when your mate get to the point where he or she start viewing your relationship as it's dead. And what happens when your mate start thinking that the relationship is dead? He or she moves into number 5, which is transitioning. What is transitioning? This is where a lot of affairs take place. At the transitional part, affairs. He or she might not leave the house as far as leaving the living quarter, but he or she might start tipping out on you on the outside. That's how a lot of men and women do it. They don't have they may not think about leaving right then, but they leave in the relationship because they go into someone else for comfort. That's the natural thing that most men and most women do. I didn't say all men and women do it, but that's the natural thing a lot of men and women do. A man will go get another woman, or a woman go get another man, and they might stay in that mess, but they'll be silent and they talk only when necessary. This is when a man and a woman, husband and wife, they may start sleeping in other rooms. They may start being what you call it, roommates. You got a married man and a married woman, they're roommates. Or some of them, they will sleep in the same bed, but they're roommates. And it get dangerous when a man and a woman that's married become roommates. He doing his thing, she doing his thing. Don't question me about my ins and outs. I came to talk to you and you didn't want to resolve it. I'm done. There's some men and women right now that they planning on staying in the house, and while they planning on staying in the house, all the love is gone. And this is what happened. Then we go to number 6. Brother and sister, this is really, really flatline. It become too late, and that's when you really start noticing changes in your mate. You start noticing your mate, then start probably buying new clothes, got a new hairdo. It's a total transformation. Your mate may start spending more time away from home. Your woman might want to go on a lot of girl trips, brother. You think it's a girl trip, don't you? Or sister, your man may want to go on a fishing trip with the boy. You think it's a fishing trip, right? A lot of other things start going on. They go to Vegas. You know what they say about Vegas? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So Vegas could be anywhere. Vegas could be right across town. Vegas could be right down the street. Vegas could be anywhere, brothers and sisters, but you will notice the changes. And the thing about changes, now you want to talk. That's the funny thing. I talk to a lot of you Christian brothers and sisters. Now you want to talk to your mate, that good man or woman. Now you want to talk. And a lot of time they don't want to talk at that time. And they may even make an agreement or a pact. Excuse me. They may make an agreement or a pact with you and say, look, let's be friends. Now that danger, my brother and sister, you may have, brother and sister, when your husband and wife said, let's just be friends. And you know what they mean by just let be friends? No, we're not close no more. I don't want to share my thoughts with you. I don't want to share my hopes, dreams, and problems with you because I'm sharing it with somebody else. And normally, if it's a man, it's another woman. If it's a woman, it's another man. You're going to start noticing change. And the dangerous thing about noticing change, then that's when you may want to go to counseling. Now you want to go to counsel with your mate. And your mate may agree to go to counsel with you. And you know the worst thing about it, when your mate wanted to resolve it earlier, and y'all could have even went to counsel during that time, but you didn't change, brother and sister, now you want to go to counseling because you think and feel your mate is slipping away from you. So your mate may agree to go to counseling. So you set up a counseling session. And when you set up a counseling session, you show up at the counseling session, but your mate don't show up. And so it's you, brother, and the counselor, or you, sister, and the counselor, but your mate is not there. But your mate said he or she was going to show, but what that tell you when they don't show? You're going to go back and think, well, when he or she wanted to go to counseling, I went, but you went, but there was no transformation. Now you see your mate change, and your mate is losing everything for you. And let me tell you, dear my brother and sister, brother, R. Kelly had a song out some years ago, and you all know what that song was, right? When a woman fed up, there's nothing you could do about it. Normally, women are the one that normally bring up the conversation. Men, if they see something, they really don't too much bring up what's going on. They see it, but they don't bring it up. But one thing about women in general, women will come to you to get clarity on a relationship. That's how most women are, brother. Women normally want to talk. They would normally want to try to save the relationship. But a lot of men don't normally go to the woman and say, hey, we need to talk about this. Not too many. But women normally initiate it. So I got to give an amen to most women. They do want, a lot of women, good women, they want to resolve it. And if it's a good man, a lot of time, brother, you need to start initiating things because you can see what's going on. You can see what's going on. So, brothers, like R. Kelly said, when a woman fed up, ain't nothing you can do about it. Brother, let me tell you this, let me tell you this, let me tell you this, brother. That darling woman that you thought was going to be there all the time, when a woman love is gone, brothers, it's hard to get it back. I'm telling you, brother, listen to me, brother. I'm pleading with you. If you got a good woman, you got to know what place to put her in. And another thing, sister, too, let me tell you about men. Men are big on respect. That's how men equate love from a woman. Men equate love with respect. You all, sister, you got to understand that. Men don't go a lot about romance, not too much. Women, you all are more romantic than men. That's the truth. A lot of times, sister, you are more romantic than men. You know why you a lot of times you more romantic than men, especially when you live in a Western society. Because, sister, you all like that romantic stuff on TV. Y'all like that romantic stuff that you see at the movie, what you read about, that type of music and all that. A lot of men's they're not into a lot of that romance stuff. It's nice. That's why, brother, you need to empathize with a woman. And brother, the only way you could learn about a woman, that's why you have to have a relationship with God's son Jesus, because Jesus created the woman, so he know what the woman needs. It's the same thing, sister. You got to understand, men are not naturally romantic. It takes time for men to get romantic. And in order for a man to get romantic, he needs the Lord Jesus in him. That will allow you sisters don't understand. Men in general aren't consistent. Because you see, sister, a lot of time on the subconscious level, a lot of time you all believe in the Disney stuff. You all believe in Prince Charming going to say this woman, and you go through all kind of adversities. Then you at the end, you want to stand on this hill, and then the moonlight come down, you kiss the silhouette. That's what you think. A lot of times, sister, you believe in that mistletoe stuff, don't you? Stand on the mistletoe and kiss. Y'all believe in that, right? You see, subconsciously, you all being trained that when y'all look at a lot of those channels on TV like Lifetime and all that kind of stuff. What is it mostly about? It's mostly about romance, where you see the woman, you see the man, you know they're going to get together, but they got to go through some adversities and stuff or hurdles, and then they get together, screw me, at the end. That's TV. That ain't real life. So, sister, on a subconscious level, that's what you all think. And then, sister, you all be talking to other women, and you all be talking like, this is what men supposed to do. They should do this. A lot of time, men don't be looking at that stuff, what y'all be looking at. Men got a whole different version of romance. And brother, romance is more than just trying to get the lady in the bed. It's more than that. That's the only time a lot of you guys want to get romantic, when you want to get in the bed with a woman. Your wife, that's what I'm talking about. You be romantic throughout the week. How does a man get romantic? A man get romantic first in his mind. That's how you do it, brother. You got to get romantic in your mind. And how do you do that? Your thought, your thinking got to change. And how your thinking got to change. This is where priority goes, brothers. And the priority is this, brother. And I always say this all the time, brother. You got to understand there's an order. There's an order. The order is God is the head of Christ. Christ is the head of man. And man is the head of the woman. You got to understand priority. So, brother, once you understand priority, you will understand how to start being romantic to your woman. And how you do that? You got to have a relationship with God first. There's no ifs and buts about it. You got to have a relationship with God first. And then through God's son Jesus, speaking to the Spirit will guide, show you, and teach you how to love the woman, how she needs to be loved. You don't go to the woman and ask her how you need to be loved. Ask Jesus how she need to be loved, because Jesus know her deepest need. So that's why you pray to the Lord, teach me, show me, guide me how to love this woman. Because you know her. You know that the number of hairs on her head, Lord. Teach me how to talk to her. Teach me how to treat her. I don't know. So, brother, you got to be real humble and go to the Lord and ask the Lord for help. That's the only way you're going to learn how to be romantic to you. You see, buying your woman flowers every now and then, that's a moment. But you got to understand it, brother. Now, listen to what I'm about to say. When you buy flowers, you got to understand this. Sister, you got to understand this. Brother, you got to understand. If there's nothing wrong with buying a woman flower, but let me tell you this. When you give a woman flowers, that's a nice gesture. But let me tell you this. When you give a woman flowers, the flowers are dead. You know why the flowers are dead? Because anytime you cut a plant from the root, it's dead. So that plant is going to last for a little while. So you got to have something more than just giving her a flower every now and then. You got to do more than giving her a card every now and then. She'll look at the card, but guess what? She's going to close it up. Eventually, she's going to forget about it. So you got to be consistent, not only with the words that you write on the card, she needs to hear it out of your mouth. It's all right to buy her jewelry, but guess what? When you buy her jewelry, guess what? She's going to want some more jewelry down the road. So the jewel is your time, quality time. And when the jewel quality time, you got to understand, brother, that she is priceless. The woman, brother, your woman, her position in your life is second after Jesus. That's the key. Your woman position is second after Jesus. No one or nothing comes before your wife but Jesus. Nothing or no one. Once you understand that, brother, then you can understand how to romantically love your woman, how she needs to be loved. Sisters, the same principle. But let me back up. Brothers, nothing wrong with loving your mother. But a lot of you guys, you mama's boys, your mother is always going to be your mother. But you can't be one with your mother. You can't be one with your mother. When you marry a woman, brother, if you do it the Lord's way, you become one with that woman. And the only person that comes after Jesus is your wife, not your girlfriend. She got to be your wife. You understand? The woman that comes after Jesus, the other person is your wife. Your wife get promoted to second most important thing, a person in your life. You can love your mama. And I have always said this. Tupac, he had a little song out years ago, ain't a woman alive that can take my mama's place. I agree with Tupac on that. Nobody can take the place of my mother, Barbara Toomer. But that's my mother. So therefore, I'm not going to have another mother. Barbara is my mother. So nobody would take my mother's place. I love my mother. But my mother, God didn't make my mama and me one. He made, when the woman that I said I do to, he merged us together. So, brother, you got to understand, your wife comes right after the Lord. After your wife, your children, after your children, your parents, after your parents, your siblings, and all other relationships come after that. Now, sisters, the same principle. Nothing comes before your husband but Jesus. You got to get that. Some of you sisters, you got children, right? This is going to be sensitive. You got children. Your husband come before your children. You got to understand that. Some of you sisters, something wrong up here. Something wrong. You don't understand. Your husband come before your children. Let me tell you something. At the Toomer's house, when I was growing up, at the Toomer's house, I had my father, Johnny. He's deceased now. My mother, Barbara. Then is my sister, Renee, my sister, Teresa, and my brother, Larry. It's time to eat. Sunday, dinner time, having chicken. Who gets to eat the big piece of chicken? Johnny Tuma gets to eat the big piece of chicken. We want the big piece of chicken, but we got some of the chicken, but Johnny got the big piece of the chicken. Who eat first? Johnny. Then the children, we still were going to eat. You see, my mother, she understood that concept. It was not that she did not love her children. She loved her children, but she understood that husband come before the children. But she still loved her children just like she loved her husband. She clearly understood that. My mother did. A lot of you women out there, you flunk the test. You think that your children eat the big piece of chicken before your husband. Your husband eat the big piece of chicken before the children, because the children still going to have the drumstick and all that other stuff. What I'm saying is this, sisters, especially those of you that got a child or children before you get married, my advice to you is, if you have a child or children before you get married and you don't understand priority, if you go into a marriage and you think your children are going to come before your husband, my recommendation to you is don't get married, because you lack maturity. You lack maturity if you're going into a marriage thinking that your children are going to be before your husband. The only person that goes before your husband is Jesus Christ. And back to you, brother, the same principle. Your wife go before your mama. Your wife go before your children. Some of you brothers, you love your daughters, don't you? You love your daughter. You love your children. But when you get married, your wife come before them. Don't let your family play guilt trips on you, brothers and sisters, because they don't understand the concept. They don't understand the priority concept. They don't understand the ladder. All they have to do is read God's word. God's word clearly lays it out. God is the head of Christ. Christ is the head of the man. Man is the head of the woman. That means a married man and a married woman. That's what it means. It doesn't say God is the head of Christ, Christ is the head of the woman, and the woman is the head of the man. That's disorder. It doesn't go that way. That's why a lot of a relationship, you get an F on your report card, because you don't want to do it Jesus' way. You want to do it your way. Speaking of that, if you don't understand the simple concept between a man and a woman, how you going to understand on a spiritual level a relationship with Jesus Christ? You can't. If you can't even get the basis of a husband and a wife relationship, you ain't gonna even get the basis of Jesus, having a relationship with Jesus. Because you got to understand it, my brother and sister, no one or nothing come before Jesus. Brother, your wife does not come before Jesus. Sister, your husband does not come before Jesus. Nothing come before Jesus. But let me tell you how Jesus rolled. If you got Jesus refused to be number two in your life. Jesus flat out refused to be number two in your life. Do you understand that, brother? Do you understand, sister? Jesus refused to be number two. If Jesus can't be number one, he's not your Lord. Now, brothers and sisters, those of you who are married, brothers and sisters, only one person go before your mate. That's Jesus. Now, let me tell you this, brother. You need to refuse to be number one. Brother, refuse to be number one in your wife's life. You take a seat back and let it be the Lord. Sister, refuse to be number one in that man's life. Take a seat back and let Jesus be in that first seat. Now, brothers and sisters, you married brothers and sisters, nobody or nothing come after Jesus but your mate first. You married people, your mate. Not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your boo, not that person that you swing through at 12 a.m. in the morning after you say, what you doing? Can I come through? Can you ride over? Nothing come before your mate but Jesus. Jesus refused to be number two. Let me tell you that, my brother and sister, accept being number two in your mate life. That's where you want to be. I want to be number two in Cinderella life. I'm not going to be number three. And she's not going to be number, and I know she don't be number three. If I try to make Cinderella number three, I know she'll bounce. I already know it. She will bounce if I make her number three or anything after the Lord, because she understands the concept. I understand the concept. So I would take the number two position in Cinderella life. I will. And she takes the number two in my life and vice versa. So, as it is written in God's word, if you put Jesus second, this is what's going to happen. Listen very carefully. If you don't hear nothing else, if you ain't got nothing else out of what I would talk about, you need to listen to this. If you put Jesus second, I'm giving you a preview of Judgment Day. And these are some chilling words from Jesus himself. And this is what a lot of people are going to do on Judgment Day, because Jesus is already telling us what's going to happen. As it is written in God's word, and the Lord Jesus said this in Matthew 7, 21 through 23. Matthew 7, 21 through 23. Not everyone that say to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one that does the will of my Father who is in heaven. On that day, many will say to me, Jesus said, on that day, many will say to me, did we not prophesy in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and do many mighty works in your name? And you know what? These are some chilling words to hear Jesus say after that. You didn't make Jesus number one, right? That's God's will to have Jesus. That's God the Father will to have Jesus at number one. This is what Jesus say. And this is the last word that some people are going to take to hell with them, where the lake of fire with them. And then will I declare to them, Jesus telling you, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. Those some chilling words. Those are the last words a man or woman going to say by putting Jesus after number one. Again, remember these chilling words. How you doing, Sister Hope? Remember these chilling words. Not everyone who say to me, Jesus letting you know, not everyone that say to me, Lord, Lord. Now you want to call me Lord. Now you want to have quality time with me. Now you want to put me in front of other people. Now you don't want to take me for granted. Now you want to take me seriously. But it's too late. It's too late. That's what Jesus basically said. It's too late. You in front of Jesus. You shaking. It's just you and Jesus. Jesus looking at you. You're going to bow your knee to Jesus before you bust the lake of fire wide open. Because hell going to already be thrown in there. You see, what's going in the lake of fire? You see, the lake of fire is the second death. The false prophet and that 666 man, they're going to already be in the lake of fire. Satan and his angels going to be in the lake of fire. Now, the book's open. There are going to be two books. There's going to be the book of your life, and it's going to be the book of life. Jesus is going to go down this book with you. I'm going to give you a little secret. If your body had not changed, you already know where you're going. Because you see, those that are going to be with Jesus, they're going to already be in their glorified bodies. So if you already have died, you're going to go back into that old body, and you're going to get in front of Jesus so you could answer for everything that you have said everything that you have done, even your idle words. You going to bow your knee to Jesus, and you going to say before you bust the lake of fire wide open, you going to tell Jesus, you are the Lord. Every knee shall bow. Every tongue shall confess that Jesus is Lord to the glory of God. It's at every knee. How you doing, Sister Renee? Welcome to the dinner table. And Sister Pam, I forgot, welcome to the dinner table. Every knee gonna bow. So, Jesus refused to be number two. Jesus gonna be number one, or he's not gonna be number two. Brother and sister, if you're married, nobody go before you but Jesus. Don't take number three, brother. Don't take number three, sister. Oh, so some more people more important than you, brother, you sister. Hey, you tell that person, you're gonna already get a glimpse, brother and sister, how important you are to a man or woman before you say I do. That's why you have to use your discernment. Before you say I do, you're gonna get some glimpse into how that person will prioritize you in his or her life. So you have to wake up and use your discernment. You're going to get a glimpse of it. Because, let me tell you this. Jill Scott, some of you have heard me say it before. Jill Scott had a song out some years ago. She was telling her girls wanted to go out, right? You are familiar with Jill Scott, the vocalist, right? Her girls wanted to go out. You know what Jill Scott said? She let them know that her man was more. She said, I like Paul and I like shaking my thing, but my man. And then there's this lady named Charlotte Moore, or something like that. You all know what I'm saying. She was telling her friends about this man. These sisters were letting their friends know this man, we girls, all right. We girls, but my man is coming. And some of you brothers, you got to listen to this. Your woman, when you're dating a woman, you Christian brothers, you single Christian brother, you got to learn to prioritize that woman in your life so she can get a glimpse where she's going to be. Your boys don't come before her. They got to understand that. But you see, your boys, they're going to say you blank whoop. You all know what I'm talking about. Fill in the blank. They're going to say you blank whoop. These are the guys that don't understand. Let me tell you something about a good woman, brother. Let me tell you something about a good woman. A good woman, brother, she will come through for you before your friend. Listen to me, brother. Listen to me today. That woman, she will come to you quicker than your boy. Let me give you an example. Brother, you with a good woman. You lose your job. You know what's going to happen? You tell your guy friend that you lost your job. You know what they're going to say? Oh, man, I'm sorry about that, man. What happened, man? Want to go get a drink, man? No, they shouldn't have did you like that, man. Had you been looking for another job, man? If you need, this is the key thing. If you need anything, brother, let me know. You just told them you lost your job. You just told these guys, your boys, your running partners, you lost your job. They're just going to say, call me. They don't want you to call them. Listen, brother, your guy friend don't want you to call. Get locked up. Get incarcerated. Hopefully you don't get incarcerated. Get incarcerated, brother, and see who could put money on the books if you got a good woman. Hopefully you don't get locked up, but I'm just giving you an example. You call your boys. You know, like when you call from jail, they'll say, do you want to accept this call? You know what your boys will do? They ain't gonna accept the call. They may accept it one time, but they ain't gonna do it no more. Who gonna bring money put on your book? That good woman. You get sick, brother. Right now, you fishing with your boys, you're going to football game, basketball game, you're doing all these things with your boys, right? When you get sick and you can't do nothing for yourself, who is going to wipe the backside of your rear end first? Because you know you're stinking. You can't do nothing for yourself. You're stinking. You're stinking, brother. Who going to clean your behind? Your friend, are they going to come and clean your behind, or that good woman? That good woman going to clean your stinking behind. Your stinking behind. Your guys ain't going to do it. They're not going to do nothing until you come up again. That's when your friends going to come around you, brothers. Some of you sisters, that good man that you got. It's a man out there that he got more money than your man. He may have a bit better physique than your man. He got all these shiny things. And then he put the camera in front of your face. So you want to flip on this guy. You go be with this guy. And then you start disrespecting the good man. And then after a while, this man, he got everything out of you. Because you see, the thing with these guys that got all this stuff, they just want to use you for a little while. They just want to use you. And you think you have a ride. You ain't a ride nothing. Then you want to creep back and tell him, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where's the rich man when he kicked your butt out of the house? He told you to quit your job. You quit your job. You done did everything. Now he telling you to get out. And the only thing you remember is that man that you left. Who is going to pick you up when you down, sister? There's a strong possibility that God the man may help you. But that's dangerous when it comes to men, because men a lot of time, it's an ego thing. Even a Christian man, a lot of time, it's an ego thing. He might not take you back. So the bottom line, my brother, the bottom line, my sister, if you place a good man or a good woman last in your life, some of the things that I just told you is going to happen. You're going to be a sad little puppy when you talk to your family member, your friends and stuff about this good man, this good woman, because you got a memory when you've been messed up and you thought that man and woman was going to always be there. Then they went through that silence, then they went through that transition, and then you notice the change. And the final thing, brother and sister, when that man or woman is gone, that good man or woman gone, the only thing you could say, adios, amigos. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. Thank you so much for being at the dinner table. If there are any questions or comments, you can go ahead and do it, but put the word wait there. If you got a question, I'll wait for your question. If you got a comment, I'll wait for your comment. All you have to do is put wait. If not, pack up some of this good food for the soul, take it with you, put it in the refrigerator, and throw that food in the microwave and share it with some more brothers and sisters, okay? Thank you so much, brothers. Thank you so much, my sister. Remember this. Do as it is written. Do unto others as you will want them to do unto you. Peace out.